Turn pages into progress with Books in Bites. We bring you the best books in digestible, thought-provoking summaries so you can learn on the go. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Yuval Noah Harari's Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. This book attempts to tackle an enormous subject, the entire history of humankind. From our humble beginnings as insignificant apes to our current position as rulers of the planet.
It's pretty ambitious, huh?
Yeah, for sure. So, what are some of the big questions this book tries to answer?
Well, it really tries to explore how we got here, as a species. Like, what were the key turning points that made us, Homo sapiens, so successful? And it also asks some pretty uncomfortable questions about progress. Like, did all these advancements actually make us happier?
Oh, interesting.
And with all our technological tinkering, are we on the verge of creating a new artificial species?
Oh, that's getting a little deep, isn't it?
It is. But that's Harari for you. He's not afraid to go there.
Well, I am excited to dive in.
Me too.
So how's this book structured? How does Harari approach this massive topic?
Well, he kind of breaks it down into 4 major revolutions that shaped humanity. The cognitive revolution, the agricultural revolution, the unification of humankind, and the scientific revolution.
Those sound pretty significant.
They were. Each one fundamentally changed the course of human history.
Okay, well, let's start at the beginning with the cognitive revolution.
Okay.
What exactly happened here that made Homo sapiens stand out from other human species?
Well, it wasn't simply about bigger brains. Harari argues that what truly set Homo sapiens apart was our ability to believe in things that don't physically exist. Things like gods, nations, money, and laws. We developed the capacity for shared myths.
Oh, that's interesting.
And this, he argues, was our secret weapon.
Our secret weapon. How so?
Well, think about it. This ability to believe in shared myths allowed us to cooperate in larger numbers, outcompeting other human species, and eventually dominating the planet. It's what enabled us to build complex societies and achieve things that would have been impossible for individuals acting alone.
Okay, so you're saying that our ability to believe in things we can't see or touch, like, say, democracy or justice.
Exactly.
That's actually what gave us an edge over other human species.
That's the argument, yeah. And it's pretty compelling when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It's like we can look at a piece of paper with a number on it and agree that it represents a certain value, that it's money.
Right.
Or we can rally behind a flag and fight for a nation, even though a nation is just an abstract concept.
Yeah, exactly.
Other human species, like Neanderthals, couldn't do this.
Right. They were limited to more immediate, concrete realities.
Interesting.
We, on the other hand, developed this capacity for abstract thought and collective belief.
So we're kind of hardwired for storytelling and believing.
In a way, yes. Harari suggests that this predisposition played a significant role in our success as a species.
This concept of shared myths is really fascinating.
It is. It really gets to the heart of what makes us human.
Do you have a favorite quote from the book that touches on this?
Oh, yeah, actually. One that really stuck with me is, there are no gods in the universe, no nations, no money, no human rights, no laws, and no justice outside the common imagination of human beings.
Whoa, that's a powerful statement.
Yeah, that's powerful. It really drives home the point that so much of what we consider real is actually a product of our collective imagination.
Exactly. We've built our entire world on these shared beliefs.
Okay, so we've got this cognitive revolution that sets us apart from other human species. It gives us this unique ability to cooperate and believe in shared myths. And then that leads us to the next major turning point, the agricultural revolution.
Right. Which, again, may seem like a straightforward advancement. We learned to farm, produce more food, and settle down. But Harari argues that it was a mixed blessing, even calling it a luxury trap. A trap. Okay, I am curious about this idea of a trap. On the surface, it seems like a positive development. We're able to grow our own food, right?
Yeah.
And form stable communities. What's the downside?
Well, Harari suggests that hunter-gatherers, while perhaps having harder lives in some respects, also had more varied diets and more freedom.
Oh, okay.
Farmers, on the other hand, became tied to the land, their lives dictated by the seasons and the demands of their crops. They often worked longer and harder for a less diverse diet.
So it wasn't necessarily a step forward in terms of quality of life.
Not necessarily. It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
It's almost like we traded freedom for stability and ended up with more work and less variety in our diet.
Wow. That's a really interesting way to look at it.
It challenges our assumptions about what constitutes progress,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a theme that Harari continues to explore throughout the book.
Okay.
He forces us to ask ourselves, have our advancements truly made us happier and better off, or have we lost something along the way?
And this is just the agricultural revolution, right?
Right. We've still got the unification of humankind and the scientific revolution to go.
It's fascinating to think about how the shift to agriculture, which we often view as this defining moment of progress,
Right.
might have actually had some unforeseen negative consequences that we're still grappling with today.
Absolutely. And those consequences, they really ripple out,
Okay.
It's not just about individual well-being. Agriculture also led to social hierarchies, increased inequality, and a greater susceptibility to famine and disease due to dependence on a limited number of crops.
So it's a trade-off. It's not as simple as we might think.
Right. There's always a cost, a consequence to these major shifts. And that's what makes Harari's analysis so thought-provoking. He's not giving us easy answers.
No, definitely not. He's making us question everything.
Exactly. He's forcing us to look at human history with fresh eyes and consider the complexities and unintended consequences of our actions. Well, I am definitely hooked. That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that we'll continue to explore as we delve deeper into the unification of humankind and the scientific revolution.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Each revolution brings its own set of fascinating paradoxes and challenges to our understanding of human history.
I bet.
So we've talked about how the cognitive revolution, right, gave Homo sapiens this unique ability to cooperate in large numbers, and how the agricultural revolution, while providing stability, may have also brought some unintended consequences.
Yeah.
This kind of leads us to the next major shift in Harari's narrative, the unification of humankind.
Okay.
So how do we go from scattered tribes and settlements,
Right.
to a more interconnected world?
Yeah, it's remarkable to think about how despite vast geographical distances and cultural differences, humanity began to sort of coalesce into larger, more complex entities.
Yeah.
What were the driving forces behind this unification, according to Harari?
Well, Harari points to three key factors: money, empires, and religion. Okay. Each played a significant role in connecting people across those geographical and cultural divides, albeit in sometimes surprising ways.
Okay, so starting with money, I mean, it's easy to see how it could facilitate trade, right? And create interdependencies. But how did it contribute to the unification of humankind on like a broader level?
Well, think of money as like this system of mutual trust, that transcends those individual differences.
Yeah.
It allows people who've never met to engage in those complex transactions and build economic relationships.
Right.
It creates this like shared language of value that can bridge those cultural divides.
So even though money is like a human invention,
Yeah.
it's a product of our collective imagination, right?
Yeah.
It ends up shaping our interactions and connecting us in very real ways.
Exactly. And it's not just about individuals exchanging goods and services. Money also enabled the rise of empires, which, despite their often, brutal methods, also played a role in unifying vast territories. Yeah.
Under a single political and economic system.
Right. Empires often get a bad rap, and for good reason.
Yeah.
But they did facilitate the exchange of ideas, technologies, and cultures across their territories.
They did. They did, yeah. That's an important point. Like the Silk Road, for example, which spanned thousands of miles and connected the East with the West,
Right.
wouldn't have been possible without the infrastructure and relative stability provided by empires. This facilitated, a flow of goods, knowledge, and religious ideas across continents.
And that brings us to religion. It seems counterintuitive that religion,
Right.
which often emphasizes distinct beliefs and practices, would contribute to unification.
Yeah.
How does Harari explain this?
Well, while it's true that religions have often been a source of conflict, right, they've also provided this sense of shared identity.
Right.
And this common moral framework for people across vast geographical areas. Think of the spread of Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism.
These religions transcended political boundaries
Right.
and created communities of believers that extended far beyond any single empire or kingdom.
So in a sense, religion provided a different kind of currency, like a currency of shared values and beliefs that could connect people on a spiritual level.
Yeah, Exactly. And this contributed to the emergence of what we might call a global consciousness, like the sense of interconnectedness that extended beyond those local communities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these three forces, money, empires, and religion, created this complex web of interactions that ultimately drew humanity closer together, setting the stage for the next major leap, the scientific revolution.
Right.
But before we move on to that, I want to touch on Harari's take on happiness.
Okay.
He argues that our modern pursuit of happiness might be misguided.
Which he does, yeah.
Okay.
Harari suggests that happiness isn't simply about achieving material wealth or comfort. He argues that true happiness stems from, like, finding meaning and purpose in life, something that often eludes us in our, consumer-driven society.
Yeah. So chasing after the next gadget or the bigger house might not be the path to genuine fulfillment. That's definitely something to think about.
It is. It challenges us to reconsider our priorities and what truly matters in life. A quote that really stuck with me from this section is, "Happiness is not the surplus of pleasant over unpleasant moments. Rather, it is the feeling that our life has meaning, a purpose."
Wow. That's...
It's a good one, right?
Yeah. It's a reminder that true happiness might lie in finding purpose and connection rather than constantly striving for more.
Exactly. And perhaps that's something we can learn from our ancestors who, despite having, fewer material possessions, often found meaning in their communities, their traditions, and their connection to nature.
That's a great point, and it leads us perfectly into the scientific revolution, which in some ways represents this significant departure from those traditional ways of knowing and being. What does Harari highlight as the key features of this revolution?
Well, the scientific revolution really marks this, fundamental shift in how we understand the world. Instead of relying on, tradition or dogma, we began to embrace observation, experimentation, and this, systematic pursuit of knowledge. This shift was fueled by this, newfound willingness to admit our ignorance and to question previously held beliefs,
So it was this move away from blind faith towards a more empirical, evidence-based approach to knowledge.
Precisely. And this new approach had profound implications, not just for science, but for every aspect of human life. It led to new technologies, advancements in medicine, and this rapid increase in our understanding of the universe and our place within it.
And it's worth noting that the scientific revolution didn't happen in isolation.
Yeah.
Harari emphasizes the crucial connection between science and capitalism.
Absolutely. The pursuit of knowledge wasn't purely altruistic. It was often driven by economic motives. With merchants and investors funding those scientific expeditions and research that promised to unlock, new trade routes, resources, and technologies, this marriage of science and capitalism fueled explosive economic growth and technological advancement.
So that thirst for knowledge was intertwined with the pursuit of profit. And this created this powerful engine for innovation and exploration.
Yeah. But with all this advancement, right, new challenges also emerged.
Right. It seems like every step forward brings new complexities and challenges that we have to navigate.
That's the nature of progress. We constantly push the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah.
And in doing so, we encounter these new questions and dilemmas that force us to reevaluate our values and our place in the world.
As we kind of wrap up our deep dive into Sapiens, I'm struck by how Harari manages to, connect the dots between these seemingly disparate historical events and draw these thought-provoking conclusions about our species. It's not just a dry recounting of facts and dates.
Right.
It's this compelling narrative that makes you, question everything you thought you knew about being human.
It really does. One of the things I found particularly insightful was, Harari's exploration of how Homo sapiens achieved global dominance. It wasn't just about our physical strength or intelligence, right? It was our unique ability to cooperate in large numbers thanks to those shared myths we talked about earlier.
Right. Those shared beliefs in things like nations, religions, and money allowed us to organize ourselves on this massive scale and achieve feats that would have been impossible for individuals or small groups.
Exactly. It's as if we created these imaginary realities and then lived by their rules, allowing us to build empires, wage wars, and create those complex economic systems.
It's almost like a form of collective hypnosis.
Yeah, it is in a way.
We agree to believe in these constructs, and they become real in their consequences, shaping the course of history.
A quote that really encapsulates this idea is, money, for example, has no objective value. It works by converting matter into mind.
Whoa.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. And that brings us to one of the most fascinating and unsettling aspects of the book, Harari's exploration of where we might be headed as a species, right?
Right.
He suggests that with our ever-increasing technological prowess, we're on the verge of creating a new kind of being, what he calls Homo Deus, God-man.
Yeah. This is where the book ventures into the realm of science fiction a bit, exploring those possibilities.
Right.
And potential perils of artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and other technologies that could fundamentally alter what it means to be human. It's both exciting and terrifying to contemplate.
Right. It raises these profound ethical questions about what responsibilities we have to these future beings, whether they will be considered our equals or even whether they might, eventually surpass us in intelligence and capability.
Yeah. As Harari puts it, we are on the verge of upgrading humans into gods.
It's
a big statement.
Yeah, it is a big statement. It's a future that's both exhilarating and daunting, right?
Personally.
We have the potential to solve, some of humanity's biggest challenges, but we also risk creating new ones that we can barely even fathom.
That's the double-edged sword of progress. One of Harari's key messages is that, we need to be mindful of the choices we make today because they will have profound implications for the future of our species. We have the power to shape our own evolution, but we need to do so wisely and ethically.
This book is like this call to action, urging us to think critically about our place in the grand narrative of human history and to consider those long-term consequences of our actions. It's not just about understanding the past, right?
Right.
It's about consciously shaping the future.
Sapiens is one of those rare books that stays with you long after you finish reading it. It challenges your assumptions, expands your perspective, and leaves you with more questions than answers. And ultimately, that's a good thing. It sparks a curiosity to, learn more, engage in those deeper conversations, and to approach the world with this, renewed sense of wonder and responsibility.
If you're looking for a book that will challenge your thinking and leave you pondering those big questions about humanity and our place in the universe, then Sapiens is definitely worth checking out.
It is.
It's a journey through time that illuminates not just our past, but also the possibilities and potential pitfalls of our future.
Yeah. And who knows, it might even spark a conversation or two with friends and family about what it means to be human in this rapidly changing world.
Yeah, for sure.
My favorite takeaway from the book is that history began when humans invented gods and will end when humans become gods.
Wow.
It's a powerful one.
It is powerful. So to grab a copy of this fascinating and thought-provoking book, check out the link in the description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful deep dives like this one.
We'll see you in the next episode.